So you've been here virtually your entire life, except for that first couple. And the tenure you spent, you actually attended law school, I believe, down
in New Orleans, yeah.
In New Orleans.
Loyola University in New Orleans. I was actually down there for 7 years. I was down there with a previous career, and then made the change and went to law school there, and then came back home in 1984. So I went to Myrtle Beach High School, and then Carolina and Columbia, University of South Carolina.
Right.
And then down to New Orleans, and then back up here again, where I've been practicing law ever since.
I think so many folks associate you as an attorney, Jay, but you had another life, even, I mean, an employed life. You did something else prior to becoming an attorney.
I was a commercial artist and photographer, and I had a studio in New Orleans for a number of years. And
a lot of folks don't know that, yeah.
Yeah, that was another adventure in and of itself.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But at any rate, you know, I've evolved my legal practice into mediation and arbitration, and I do a lot of that. These days, I have cases assigned to me through the court system, plus people come to me privately for those services, mediation and arbitration.
Is that right? Good, yeah. And David Harwell did talk a little bit about
Harwell
that last week.
is very well known for that as well. In fact, I've actually worked with him on cases in the past.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
And he's great. I really enjoy working with him.
We spent an hour with him last week. He aired on Thursday, principally talking about his life, and then on Friday, some of his pet peeves in the legal system and some issues that he wants to see.
He has pet peeves. I think we all do.
He's got some biggies there. That's right.
Yeah.
And Sam Hodges will be with us tomorrow, so we got some things to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, Sam is wonderful. She's going to be so enjoyable to have on the show. I work with her over in family court, and you know, through the guardian ad litem program over there. So
she's in talking about seeking volunteers here in the States. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. But of course, the big push here, IndianARC.com, and giving you a call at 626-2006. Of course, there's other tremendous groups you've been involved in the past. We talked a little bit about the week that we spent at Camp Happy Days, Jay. The children. Share with viewers real quick if they're not familiar with
Happy Days and Special Times is a program out of Charleston, and it's set up for children with cancer, and also takes care of their families as well. And there are things that go on in that program year-round. The biggest event is a camp that happens in the first week or so of July each year at Camp Bob Cooper on a lake, Lake Marion. And it's an exciting event. It's just huge. And I used to participate as a counselor, as a boat driver, and take the kids for boat rides and tubing and that sort of thing.
This is for children with cancer.
Yes. I lost my leg to cancer when I was younger, and so that's something that appeals to me and that I work with quite a bit. Now, I haven't been a counselor for a while, but I still work with the organization. And they have Christmas parties, Halloween parties. They take people down to Disney World. They have special events where they bring parents who have lost children to cancer. They bring them up to Myrtle Beach for a long weekend to go through counseling and therapy and events together, and they share their experiences. They also have weekends, getaways for parents whose children are in a hospital, because that's so grueling that each parent, round the clock, they have to take care of other children, take care of their lives, and take care of their children in the hospital. And so what they do is they set these events up and provide other babysitters to help with the children, so the parents can get away and share experiences with other parents who are going through the same thing. So those weekends are very big events up here in Myrtle Beach. And then there's other things that go on throughout the year that I try to help with, and you can actually sponsor children going to camp with Camp Happy Days.
Oh yeah, sure. And if a viewer wanted to find out more about that, they could call you as well.
Sure. Contact me again at my law offices, Bultz Law Offices, at 626-2006.
Well, I remember, both anecdotally and directly, as we were down there with the kids and interviewing all the kids, and of course you were there with us that week when we were at Camp Bob Cooper. It was powerful because obviously a lot of the children highlighted the fact that they'd been there even the year before, but a lot of their friends who were there the year before had passed away.
That is one of the toughest things about participating in that is you would get to know children and become friendly with those children. They become friendly with you, and you know them throughout camp and other events, and then next year they don't return to camp, and that is tough. That is really tough. But on the other side of that is the children who are just living life to the fullest and have absolutely no fear of what's going on with them.
Right.
It seems like the adults are more fearful than they are.
Right.
And the children just set incredible examples for us. And it's that type of experience that I try to give back. My life. The greatest gift you can give is a portion of yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And so I try to give a portion of myself, which would be the greatest gift that you can give. And so we want to do this with this Indian rally as well. I mean, the focus is the children of India. The primary charity, which you will see on the website, is the New Hope Society for Education and Social Welfare.
Good.
And it's based out of the Tamil province, I forget the name of the city, in India. But they do a lot of good over there, and that is where all the net proceeds of the rally sponsorships will go.
Good.
And 100% of those proceeds, the team sponsorships, there will be a net of that will go to it. The sponsorships for the villages will go directly to that village, and then the sponsorships for the rally as a whole goes to the New Hope Society.
What are y'all's biggest need now, Jay? We got about 5 minutes, and for you and your brothers, what's the biggest need?
We need financial assistance to help finish sponsoring our team.
Okay, about how much? What are we talking about?
About another $2,000.
Okay.
And then, but the biggest challenge is going to be the sponsorship for the villages. And I understand that teams typically raise $5,000 to $10,000 for each village, and that goes a long way for those villages.
Oh, I bet.
And so that's something that we're working on, and we're going to start sending out materials and calling on people to help sponsor that.
Right.
As far as our particular team, we're fairly well covered. We need some more for that, but as far as the village, we're just getting started with that. We're gathering up materials. The main administration over in Hungary that sponsors this, puts it together, the organizers, are sending us materials that we can, press kits and stuff that we can take out to the media, to educate people about what's going on, and to know that a local team. My brothers grew up here. I mean, they were born in the local hospitals here.
Right.
We're all from Myrtle Beach, and so we want Myrtle Beach to get behind us to help sponsor the children over in India, in particular a village. And it might end up being one of the coastal villages, so we would have a lot in common with these people who live on the coast the same as we do.
And so often, as you know, early in the week and all week long, we're always thinking about issues in our area. And you mentioned abject poverty, and when we think about poverty in the States, oftentimes it would be even our viewers. But there's no such thing as a viewer of, poverty in India. They don't even have shoes, as you talked about. The level of abject poverty over there is such a markedly different world.
It is. It really is. And if we can make a difference, and I understand that the first race across India last year made a huge difference, and they're looking to make it even bigger this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Last year was the first.
Yeah. And so this is going to be the second race. Now there's other rallies that they help sponsor around the world, but this particular rally is focused in on the children of India.
Do you have family here in the area, Jay?
I do. My mother's still here. We all grew up here.
Yeah.
And my sister is in Seattle, Washington with her husband.
Right.
I live here, and of course, my two children, Monty and Mark.
Of course, yeah.
And then my brother, one brother, Garl, is in Aiken, and the other brother is in Greenville. And we get together whenever we can.
That's right. We recently had a guest on the show, Mark Mitchell, who's very active at Trinity Presbyterian, I believe it is, down in Surfside, or the Methodist, the church down on Glens Bay Road, who said your mother was one of the founding members.
Right, the Trinity Presbyterian on
Church,
Glens Bay Road.
Barbara
Bultz.
Barbara Bultz. So she has remained very active.
Yeah, she
even though you didn't grow up at Trinity.
Well, I grew up in First Pres in Myrtle Beach.
Right, sure.
And then later on became a member of Trinity Episcopal Church, which is where my children have grown up.
Right, sure. Hearing your mother talk about, or hearing Mark talk about your mother's involvement in that church down on Glens Bay Road is
she just about runs the place.
Yeah, it sounds like she and the pastor there, and they've done some great things. They've just built a huge new kids' playground in the back area there, and doing a lot down in that area.
She's always been involved in things, and I think, our parents have always gotten us involved in so many activities through church and other social activities that, that made an impression on us. And I think that's why, we've always been interested in community work and doing that sort of thing.
You talk about that giving back aspect, Jay, whether it's the kids at Camp Happy Days, the kids in the village here, and of course for you, as you said, where the kids at Happy Days are living life to the fullest, much like I think you've shared about when you were going through your tough times with cancer, and the ability to really give back to the fullest.
Yeah, I've gone from working locally to working statewide with Happy Days and Special Times and getting involved in other organizations, and now my brothers and I are taking it global. We're heading over to India to see what we can do and make a difference over there, and there's other places in the world that we're probably looking at next. So
listen to that. I love it.
I think I've inspired my daughter. She just got back this past summer from a mission trip to the Dominican Republic. Good. And so she was helping villagers over there, and so at some point in time when she and my son get a little older, I want to start taking them on some of these adventures as well, because they're already tuned into that.
Kick your brothers off the rickshaw and Mark and Monty. That's great. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Jay.
Greg.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Jay Bultz coming up next. Better get that quote out or I'll forget it. The greatest gift is a portion of thyself. Listen to those key words. You heard them come out of Jay's mouth, even though they were penned by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Take the time to think about that. The greatest gift is a portion of thyself. Simple phone number 626-2006, 626-2006. A great-looking website, Indian ARC, Auto Rickshaw Challenge, IndianARC.com, IndianARC.com. You heard Jay talk about it. It's 3 Myrtle Beach guys getting together, one who lives in Aiken now, one in the Seattle area, I think, and Jay, all heading to India to be together in a little rickshaw, a little 250cc engine there. Think about that experience. These 3 big guys in a little rickshaw racing around for 13 days, racing around India. Why? Abject poverty. Why? Making a difference, giving of thyself. Jay Bultz and his brothers taking the time. Go online. You can sponsor the rally itself. You can sponsor that village, or you can help them with the last couple thousand they need. They've already raised a lot of money, but a couple more to sponsor the team there. Jay and his 2 brothers. Take the time. Pick up the phone, 626-2006, or go online to IndianARC.com.